Sam woke up to find he had somehow stumbled off to bed, but with his clothes on. The first thing he noticed was the bright light shining in the hall outside his room. Is someone in the apartment, he thought, sitting up with a start. What are they, shining a flashlight or something? And then he relaxed and laughed as he realized it must be the light from the full moon shining in through his front window and down the hall. Amazing how bright it got. Sam relaxed until he realized he could hear someone moving around in his living room. Sam jumped up so fast, he didn't even have time to call, "Who's there?" And as he strode down the short hall, he saw in the dim light of the room the silhouette of a tall, thin woman. The woman. The one at the periphery of his life, as she always seemed at the periphery of his vision. Sam generally saw her at a distance, on the other side of the cafeteria or the pub, at the far end of a corridor, walking in from the parking lot, always in a crowd, always at a distance. But he was instantly aware of her whenever she was in his vicinity. He would look up and see her, and their eyes would lock in recognition, no matter how far away. But by the time he stumbled into the living room, she had vanished. But in the air, he could detect the scent of musk, sensual musk, her scent. Sam was too perturbed to think about going back to bed. Besides, it was time to get ready for work. But as he walked to the lonely bus stop, Sam couldn't help experiencing a sense of foreboding. The rain had ended, but the roads were wet. It was cold, with patches of clammy mist in the night air. The light of the full moon was almost too intense. The streets were deserted, and for once, Sam found himself wishing to be surrounded by the usual crowd of commuters. The bus to Wilson Station was empty, as was the subway car, which took him down to the black towers of the financial district. And Sam had the unusual experience of traveling across the huge metropolis without speaking to a single human being. It was like traveling through the city of the dead. He observed a curious incident as he made his way down King Street. Directly across from his building, an old black Lincoln Town Car was pulled to the curb and was being worked on by several lean, dark men dressed entirely in black. They seemed to be changing a tire. The car had tinted windows, so it was impossible to see anyone inside. As Sam passed the car, the men stopped their work and turned in unison and stared at him with cold, intense, dark eyes, which Sam found so unnerving he automatically turned and hurried into his building. In the lobby, someone finally spoke to him. The lobby guards, who were taking the piss at his expense. "Where's your lady in black?" Tom barked from the security desk. "She wasn't in black," Sam said, shaking his head in disgust. Ray, older, wiser, was staring out at the street. "What's wrong with the link?" "Oh, they appear to be changing a tire." Ray grunted. The whole thing appeared out of thin air. They weren't there 5 minutes ago. Well, they've got a crew of weird-looking bastards working on it. "Must be the full moon," Ray said. And with that, Sam hopped the elevator to the 35th floor. The evening shift reported all quiet on the security front. After they left, Sam made himself a coffee, lit an export A, and settled down to read a bit before his first set of rounds. It may have been his general uneasiness, or maybe it was the full moon, or perhaps he was just tired. But Sam became engrossed in the old weird story, engrossed to the point of forgetting his rounds. He might have sat there all night, reading till dawn. But suddenly, he became aware of an unusual scent in the air, the sensual musk which had been haunting him. Sam got to his feet and looked around the reception area. But there was no one there. Then he checked the bank of security cameras. Still nothing. Sam forced himself to calm down. He would do a complete check on all floors, and if there was anyone there, man or mystery woman, he would find them. Grabbing his radio, he set out. He started on the 35th floor and found nothing. But he noticed the heavy scent became stronger as he rose, floor after floor. The smell of perfume was much stronger in the executive suite. So intense, it almost felt liquid, as if the walls, the carpet, the ceiling had been drenched in musk, and the scent had replaced the very air. It was so extreme. Sam felt his head begin to reel, and he also felt sick to his stomach. He could see halos around the lights, and everything seemed to be turning amber. I have to get some fresh air quick, or I'm going to bloody pass out, Sam said to himself, but he actually said it out loud. He went up the stairs leading to the roof and had reached the halfway point when he felt cold, fresh air tumbling down the stairwell. The door to the roof was open. Open? Open? How was that possible? A camera was mounted above the landing, which led to the door to the roof, and he had looked at the monitor, and he had seen the door had been shut. It had been shut. Shut! But now it was open, with cold, misty night air pouring down the steps. Sam stumbled out onto the roof. The surface was wet from the mist, and the wind had picked up, so that he had to grab his uniform cap to keep it from being blown away. And she was there. She was standing at the very edge of the roof, balancing on the abyss, her coat wrapped around her like the wings of a gigantic bat. She was standing at the very edge, but she wasn't looking down or at the myriad lights of the city, or even at the intense full moon. Instead, her head was turned towards him, her luminous gray eyes flashing, as she said in a low, sultry voice, "I told you not to come to work tonight." "What? Please, you're too close to the edge. Please, back away." "Why, Sam, are you afraid?" "Please, the wind. Please step back." He would have called her by name, but he had never known her name, had he? The woman didn't move. Again, Sam stepped forward, tentatively, timidly, trying to avoid any sudden movements which could make her lose her balance. They were 40 stories above the cold, hard street, and the night winds were blowing so hard. He had managed to get within a few feet of her, almost close enough to make a grab for her, when she spoke again. Remember that night? Oh, so many years ago? In the falls? How could I ever forget? Why didn't you take me in your arms? I will now. And then she was in his arms, and she was saying, You are mine. You shall be mine, and you and I are one forever. And then their lips met, and Sam felt like he was flying, literally flying through space. The ambulance and paramedics arrived very quickly, but Sam was pronounced dead at the scene. His head was squashed in. After all, he had fallen 40 stories, straight down. A few blocks from the flashing lights, a tall, lithe woman, enfolded in a long black coat, which made her look like a monstrous bat, got into the back of an old Lincoln Town car, which slowly drove away and vanished into the night. Sam's end was eventually ruled an accident. But on the security desk, Ernst found his book, open to Carmilla, by J. Sheridan LeFanu. A pencil lay across the page and seemed to point to the following words. Think me not cruel, because I obey the irresistible law of my strength and weakness. If your dear heart is wounded, my wild heart bleeds with yours. In the rapture of my enormous humiliation, I live in your warm life, and you shall die. Die, sweetly die, into mine. I cannot help it. As I draw near to you, you in your turn will draw near to others, and learn the rapture of that cruelty, which yet is love. They say there is someone for everyone. Well, Sam sure got his. The end. Are you sure? WSJ here. Poor Sam. Thank you so much for listening. On this channel, I tell original ghost stories and weird tales. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it, drop a like, or leave a comment. I try to answer all comments when possible. And I hope you'll consider subscribing. Consider subscribing for more of the grotesque and phantasmagorial. How's that for a word? Phantasmagorial. Phantasmagorial. Phantasmagoria. As a new channel, new subscribers are a real encouragement. Believe me, they make my day. So till next time, stay hungry.